Hi, it's Jason here at the Centre for Computing History, and we are at the Japanese Made in Japan festival here at the museum. I'm here with Krang, also known as Asobitech online, and we've got an absolutely amazing display of some really cool gear here, mostly gaming this particular table. Krang, tell us a little bit about what we've got.
So yeah, we've got a Nintendo section here to start with. We've got a GameCube Panasonic Q, which is Panasonic's collaboration with Nintendo to make a DVD player built in with a GameCube. Also with the Game Boy player at the bottom there, so they play Game Boy games.
Nice.
This is from Sharp SF1. It's a Famicom TV, so it's a 16-bit Super Nintendo built into a TV, all in one for Japanese small homes. You can play them all in one.
That is fantastic. Love it. So, yeah. So the whole does it act as a TV as well?
Yeah,
it's just a standard TV, yeah.
Normal TV. It takes TV signals through and imports. You can play your Sega console in there if you really wanted to.
Nice. Okay, so what else we got?
So we've got here. This is a lovely gold N64 board from the museum, but it's on top of it is 64DD, which is the expansion pack for the N64. It lets you play disc games. There's things like SimCity, Ghost in the Giant, Mario Paint follow-up, and F-Zero expansion.
Very cool.
It was something that didn't quite take off in America.
No, and hence now pretty rare.
Yeah, pretty rare indeed.
So, do you know how many were sold?
Not many. They were normally sold with the internet provider BrandNet.
Right.
You can get them as a pack, but there's also what I have here is the retail box version, which was a lot harder to get hold of. But that's my collection is retail.
That's what's nice about this display is all the boxes that go along with it. The artwork on is fantastic.
So over on the side next to it, we have the Nintendo Satellaview, which was the add-on for the Super Famicom that lets you download games via the internet service through satellite.
Right.
So it is those storage cartridges here. We'll download the game. If I understand correctly, there's a Zelda follow-up to Link to the Past, only available on Satellaview.
Right. Okay. That's the Satellaview.
Satellaview, yeah.
Fantastic.
Satellite.
What else here? So Sharp. Right.
So again, another Sharp collaboration. Sharp and Nintendo did a lot of collaborations in the early days. Famicom
Twin Duo and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
So this is a Famicom Titler. It's a weird concoction of a gen-locking machine and a Famicom gaming machine. So you can put a video input into there and then overlay your own graphics and other games. So you could make, I guess your latest YouTube video using one of these.
I was going to say, so this was kind of predating any of the stuff going on with YouTube and doing gameplays and things online.
Exactly that.
So what were they thinking though?
I don't know. It was ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Graphics capabilities are of an NES, so they're not that great, to be honest. So would you rather just buy a normal gen-locking machine and an NES, or you would do all together? I don't know.
Wow. Good stuff. Right.
So here we have the three SG-1000. So a lot of people don't know that Sega, before the Master System, actually had three consoles.
Yep.
And these are the SG-1000 series, the Mark 1, Mark 2, and Mark 3.
There's the Mark 1.
Mark 1's here.
Cool.
So the Mark 2 and the Mark 3. The Mark 1 is probably on par with like a ColecoVision, I guess.
Right.
Then moving up through the ranks, Mark 3 is basically a Sega Master System as we know it, in a different casing.
Right, okay.
So
the SG-1000 as well, I mean, we have one of those in the museum, but this has got a different label.
Yeah, so this is what's known as the German flag one.
Right.
It has the orange and the red stripe, which is a little more rare.
So, German flag, that's nothing to do with Germany though. It wasn't released in Germany, or it just happens to be the same colours and that's what we call it?
Yeah, so
just a colloquial name for it, right, okay.
Nickname, I guess.
Right, good stuff. So that's the SG-1000, there's some different variations.
Yeah, exactly. Over here we have the Mega Jet, which was released on airlines. In Japan Airlines, you could rent one of these and then play Mega Drive on your flight along the Atlantic or whatever.
Right.
But they thought it was quite nice. It's a portable Mega Drive without a screen, and plugs into the seat. The screen in the back of the seat.
Yeah, so it's just composite video output, is it?
Yeah, just composite. Although it's actually the same video output as the Mega Drive 2.
Okay.
So I theory took the RGB off that.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
But it's really nice to hold, and again, it's a weird knockoff.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a strange handheld without a screen, so kind of useless, but yeah, very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay.
And so over here we have the two JVC machines. So JVC did the drive for the Mega Drive CD.
Mm-hmm.
But So Sega said, okay, you can make your own machines. They made the One Mega 1 and the One Mega 2. So the One Mega 1 here is an all-in-one Mega CD with CD drive cartridges, but also with the Mega in front here. We have the karaoke controls here.
Ah, right, yeah.
So on the Mega Drive, you can get a separate karaoke pack. This is all built in one.
Nice. That's a beautiful design as well. I really like that.
Lovely machine.
Yeah.
Also, so the Mark II was available in America as well as the JVC XI.
Right. Yeah.
But without the infrared controls. So this has infrared controllers.
Yep.
Sit back and play on the couch. I don't think it's as nice as the Mark 1, but it's still a lovely curiosity.
Have you played it with the infrared controllers?
No, I've not tried it yet.
I wonder how responsive they are, and then whether you've got to have it pointing in exactly the right direction.
Yeah, I remember having infrared controls on my Super Nintendo,
right,
and you had to be quite accurate with those.
Yeah, I can't even get my Sky remote to turn the Sky over unless it's pointing right at it. But anyway, good stuff. And again, look all these lovely boxes over here. So, good stuff.
And finally, over here, we have the Divers 2000 CX1, which is a Dreamcast built into a CRT all-in-one.
Beautiful.
Quite rare, quite limited.
Yep.
They were sold as home internet machines, so they came with a keyboard, a webcam, and an internet service. So those you don't know, but Dreamcast has a built-in modem unless you go online. So they wanted to use it as a web browser and things like that, and just be a communication machine.
Beautiful. So we've done a video that we haven't edited yet, but we had one of these in bits because we were repairing it. And inside it's just a standard Dreamcast, kind of, I wouldn't say bodged, but not far from bodged, into the case. So it's nothing really that special about them. It's just the fact that you've got such a nice case. And if I come around this side, looks a little bit Sonic-y, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've got the lights with the VE meter.
Yeah, we had to repair those as well. They didn't work on the one we had. But yeah, they're a really cool machine. So, but it is a standard TV, Dreamcast in it, and a couple of little bells and whistles on top. So beautiful, but again, really rare. So.
And finally, just over in the corner, these two machines. This is the Commodore Max machine, which is the Commodore, I guess it's Commodore 16, released in Japan. It was only there for a very short while before they pulled it. They were looking to do an American release, but in the end they cancelled it and they just went for the Commodore 64.
Right.
It's a weird machine. It's got a membrane keyboard, which you don't normally see.
It's in lovely condition.
It's quite cute.
Yeah, that's a good job that Adrian's not talking to us about that. It'll be here for hours. Right, what else we got there?
So this is Casio's PV-1000, Casio's failed machine. If I'm mistaken, it was about 6 months before they pulled the plug on PV-1000.
Less than that.
Less than 6 months? Less than a month before they pulled the plug on it. They basically saw the Famicom and thought, we're not having a go at that. This is a pachinko game, which is ridiculous. You press the button and you throw pachinko balls into it. This is a game that came with it.
Right.
And it's not exactly exciting.
It's not rapid, is it, in the way it's rendering that?
You see the back of the box, there were a bunch of other games planned for it. A bunch of Konami licensed games. So we've got Mappy, Turtles, Amadar clone there. So there's 3 games. I don't want to hunt them down. Check them out.
Do they definitely exist?
I don't know yet. I need to find out. I'm quite curious now.
Cool. And there's the box for the Commodore Max as well. Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to hand you over.
Right, okay. Well, thank you very much for coming and being part of the exhibition this weekend.
It's a pleasure.
And hopefully we'll see you. Well, actually, we will see you soon, actually, won't we?
So on Friday.
So this coming Friday, I mean, this isn't going to work on YouTube or whatever, but Grang will be doing a talk about his collection and Game Boys and all the rest of it. So if we get this video out in time, come and see us. Otherwise, thank you very much indeed. Okay, so on to another part of the exhibition in terms of more retro Japanese tech. We're here with Johnny Blanchard.
Hey.
How you doing?
Not bad. How you doing?
Good. Right, so can you tell us a little bit about some of the machines we've got here?
Certainly can, yeah. We start with a loopy?
Yeah.
So, Casio did not have a great time in the gaming world, so this is another machine that was cancelled fairly quickly. Time frames are variable depending on what you look at, but it's about 3 months. This was basically being cancelled as it was being shipped to stores. So it's an interesting one because Casio kept trying to find their niches in the gaming world. And
Right.
This niche was for girl games,
Right.
which is a great term to use nowadays.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't get you anywhere today.
It wasn't much better back then, to be fair, because girls who played games were still playing Nintendos and Segas. So
Yeah, absolutely. And
this-
almost certainly developed by a bloke, but whatever.
by blocking PR as well. So this is all of the games are basically focused around dressing up and shopping.
Right.
There's this arty one which is a little bit more approachable. It's very Mario Artist style thing with a mouse. But the idea is it's got this on the side here. It's a thermal printer, and the ribbon that comes with it are actually based on stickers. So the idea is you design your character, you put the clothes on it, and then you print out a sticker that you can keep. So that was their idea, and it just flopped massively.
Disaster. Yeah.
Which is a shame because it's actually not a bad machine.
No,
It's
it
just
looks all right.
they created a niche that wasn't there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone just plays the same kind of games. There's no particular need to create a console specifically for one gender or other. Yeah, it's got a screensaver built in.
Yeah, it's very Windows 95.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Right. So that's the Loopy.
Yep.
Let's move on. What do we got next?
Right, so the Super Cassette Vision. Now, you don't really hear about Epoch very much in terms of the consoles. They do a lot of LCD games as well, which is what they were probably most known for outside of Japan. But the fact is that they were basically the Nintendo before Nintendo. This was massively popular. The Super Cassette Vision and the Cassette Vision, the black and white version before, were incredibly popular machines. They sold really well. But when Nintendo arrived, that was it. That's end of game for Epoch.
days. Right, yeah.
And there's some nice enough games, like this is Elevator Fight, which is a blatant rip of Elevator Action. It plays perfectly fine. It's got if you look at the styling, you can kind of see definite Famicom hints.
Right.
So it stores its controllers nicely in a little container.
Lovely.
And they're all connected, so you don't get to unplug controllers. They're all already connected, so they're not analog, but they do look it.
They're still digital
micro
controls. Right, yep.
But yeah, it's a nice machine. So this one I got it a while ago, but I only had Golf originally, and obviously Golf, it's not a particularly impressive game when you've got a console.
No.
Not for this era anyhow. And so I wasn't really into it, but I got Elevator Fight, and it's a fantastic machine. I'm in love with it with Elevator Fight because it was such a good machine.
Right, so Super Cassette Vision. Lovely. Okay.
Yes.
PCFX.
PCFX. Hated by many NEC console lovers.
I like them.
When you look at the history of it, the actual history, you can see what NEC were trying to do and you can understand it. So this was designed at a time when the PC Engine was still doing quite well. It was fighting against effectively the end of the 8-bit consoles and the beginning of the 16-bit consoles. And so NEC realised they had to do something for the next step, and they couldn't just keep making different variations of the PC Engine. They had to get away from backwards compatibility and make a brand new platform.
Yeah.
And so they designed this. Then suddenly there was a huge spike in the sales of PC Engines because they released the arcade card so they could play all these wonderful arcade games, which are practically the same quality as Neo Geo games, but for a lot cheaper. And so they shelved this. This got mothballed. It's a fantastic 2D machine. It's got a chip in it just for decoding JPEG screens, so it's really good at FMV, much better than, say, the PlayStation or the Sony. But yeah, because they didn't want to break that backwards compatibility, they just mothballed it.
Right.
And then Sony announced the PlayStation, and suddenly they said, no, we need something to compete with that. And so 4 years later, they released a machine that didn't have 3D capabilities to fight against the PlayStation and the Saturn. Which is a shame.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got expandability. There's a huge port in the back, which they were going to be releasing a 3D card for.
Right.
Of course, that never happened. But
Yeah.
So when you look at its place, it's not so bad.
No.
And it is genuinely good at 2D. It's got some fantastic 2D games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very FMV sort of oriented though.
Yeah.
In the end, but I also like the packaging that they had for them. It kind of that just looked that little bit more better value for money.
Yeah, so early on you had these, which were the lovely giant box things, which
It's got the foam insert, has it, and everything else. Yeah.
And it comes with, and it just looks really, really nice.
Yes.
The CD's hidden away in a compartment.
Yeah, get your money's worth there.
Then later on,
Cheapo.
you're down the tools.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on.
Right, the Martys. This is another one of those unfortunately historical problems. So Fujitsu were fighting with NEC in the PC-98 wars. But NEC had the advantage that they had a successful console line, and that helps, of course. If you're selling one thing successfully, it kind of helps another line. And so their PCs were doing well. Fujitsu said, we need something to compete with the PC Engine TurboGrafx. And so what they did is they took their successful FM Towns PC range, they found the lowest version of that, and they made it into a console. To the point when, if you look, so this is the Mighty One, this is the first version released.
Yeah, that's what we got.
It's even got a floppy drive on the side and can accept, we can open this, PCMCIA cards, so PC cards. So it's genuinely a PC in a box.
Yeah. Yeah.
First of its kind. Also the first 32-bit console. It came out a few months before the 3DO.
Right.
So a lot of firsts. Unfortunately, with first come price. So this was just way overpriced and nobody was buying it. Fujitsu went back and they said, well, what do? We have to cut the price. So they released the Mighty 2. Now, you're probably thinking it's a different console. No, exactly the same. Internally, these are identical. You could look at the PCBs and you wouldn't be able to tell which was which.
Okay.
They just changed the colour of console. To my mind, a much nicer looking console. I still maintain that's one of the nicest looking consoles ever made.
It is nice. It is nice.
So
what's the difference?
Literally, the difference is the colour and the price.
Oh.
They changed the colour, they halved the price, and it started to sell.
Right, okay.
But then again, Sony, PlayStation, Fujitsu lost their nerve in the market, and they stopped selling it. And there's a whole business law now in Japan based around this called the Marty law, which is literally, if you don't offer something for sale, you can't sell it. And it's based on Fujitsu started just pulling the rug out from the machine that was finally selling. But that's fortunately not the end of the Marty technology, because they put a lot of work obviously into miniaturizing that PC technology into this console case. And so they gave it to their car audio arm.
Yeah.
So Fujitsu 10 are the people that make all the car stuff for Fujitsu, and they took that technology and they made the car Marty, which was really the first proper car entertainment system. It had GPS, it could use multiple monitors, so you could have screens in the back for your kids and they could play games.
Right.
So it's a fascinating end to this line of technology. Again though, massively overpriced, didn't sell.
Yeah, I've heard about the car Marty a lot, but I've never seen one. So
You can see that PC card. So that's actually the car navigation software. So that's the GPS software.
Oh, of course, yeah, that's right. Wow. Cool, very cool. Right, so where are we next? What's this over here? So
this is the Bandai RX-78 Gundam. If you're a fan of manga, you probably recognise the name. Effectively, Bandai just decided to sell a PC by just calling it the same as one of their main IPs. Literally, and you can't. If you search for stuff, you more often find the manga series rather than you find finding anything about this machine. It's quite a rare machine. It's got no kind of operating system built in, so there's no basic built in. You have this extra cartridge, which also has the mic and ear ports for loading and saving games built into it, because there's really nothing
into the cartridge,
on it, so that's part of it.
Yeah.
So it was a very basic machine, but I mean internally it's a Z80, and if you look at the build-up of the machine and the chips it uses, the glue logic, you can almost see a proto MSX in there. So possibly this was again one of Microsoft's inspirations, as well as some of the Sharp machines as well. Their inspirations for making that MSX standard.
Interesting. Okay. That's the
also,
Bandai.
it's not as bad as it looks.
Right. Okay. It's sort of a chiclet keyboard.
But they're very soft touch, so so they actually bounce quite well, which improves it a lot.
It's like a forerunner to an Apple laptop keyboard.
Yeah.
A MacBook keyboard. Fantastic.
Can't get dirt and dust down the side of these though.
That's true, yeah. So actually it's an improvement. Well, not an improvement, because it was before. Anyway, well, thank you very much for bringing all this equipment to the display here. Really appreciate it. It's a fantastic collection of machines, as you can see there. And you have a book available, do you not?
I do, as Kickstarted. I'm hoping to make it available soon.
Right, so it's Kickstarter project. Right, Gaming in the Obscure. Get onto Kickstarter, check it out. And
the Kickstarter's done.
Oh, is it done? Okay, well, I'll take this bit out then.
So
hey, right, so the book is right. Okay, right. So somehow check this book out and get it. I don't know how it's going to be. But
don't get the digital versions because they're horrible.
Okay, right.
Don't mention the book.
we will promote it, and I've seen a copy of it. It's in our office, and it looks really nice. And it is all this kind of obscure machines you see here. So thank you very much, and see you at the next event.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay, so back again, more Japanese tech on the tables. I'm here with Tony
there.
Jewell.
Hello
Tony is one of our volunteers and the man who set this entire event up.
I did indeed.
So thank you very much for doing that. We really appreciate it. You're our favourite volunteer. I can't say that.
You can't.
Well, it's done now. Anyway, so tell me a little bit about what we have here.
Yeah, sure. We have here a Sharp NZ80A, which is the posh brother of the machine over there, so I'll show you that in a second. This is a kind of Japanese business machine, although there are a few games for it. This game here that we're running at the moment is called Mind Snake, which was only released a couple of years ago by a friend of mine who's trying to promote it here. You can buy a copy, you can come to the museum and buy a copy if you want.
Fantastic. Okay, so green screen though.
Green screen,
So
indeed.
in this display, we've got all these consoles. We've got, should just say, a couple more Krang's consoles here, filling a bit of space, but we've been colour so far.
Yeah, no, we're into the world of black and white here, or black and green on this one, black and white on the other one.
Right.
This one's got a floppy disk drive emulator hooked up to it.
Oh, yeah.
Which just makes loading stuff a bit easy.
Nice.
Because otherwise everything comes off the rather nifty little integrated tape drive here. When you switch one of these on, it doesn't do anything. You have to load something off the tape drive, whether that's basic or a business program or a game or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. Okay, so MZ80A. So that K over there?
Yeah, that's
And then
the K.
there's also the B, isn't there?
Yeah,
and the
there's
B's
a B.
got.
Yeah.
Oh, there's B a bit further down there. We'll get to that then.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what are these?
So these are Tomy Pewters. So it started with this machine here. So this is made by Tomy, the Japanese toy manufacturer. It was a bit of a failure for Tomy. They sold it through toy shops and they didn't sell many of them.
Right. And is it actually called the Pewter?
Pewter, yes. Pyuuta. Yes, it's a
Nice.
pewter.
Okay.
So this is the American version. So they tried to sell it in America with almost exactly the same lack of success. And then they decided to have one third go at it. So they stripped off the keyboard and they built this, which is the Pewter Junior console. But it's exactly the same machine, to the point that most of the games for this don't run on that because anything that asks for keyboard input will just fail at that point.
Right. Okay. Right.
It is basically, if I switch it off and on, it looks a lot like a TI-994A, which is basically because it is a
I was gonna say,
TI-994A.
right, okay.
It's I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a clone, but it's based on the same chips.
Right. Okay. Oh, interesting. And I cannot believe there is actually a flash cart available for this.
Yes, it has all the games. They're all on it.
What, all 7?
Yeah, no, they're all
Oh,
on it.
okay, fair enough. Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah, that is all the
Okay,
games.
right.
So,
And those kind of same kind of style controllers are like a Sword M5, isn't it?
yeah,
With
so
that little rotary
they
pad.
don't spin or anything, it's just buttons
It
underneath.
is, yeah. Right, okay.
So, yeah, they're a bit rubbish, but they'll...
Interesting.
It's a nice little machine. The games are reasonable quality. They just didn't sell many,
Right.
and that's the problem.
Okay. Right, let's move on.
Moving around here, we have probably the dinkiest, cutest little MSX machine ever made, which is the Casio MX-101, which has actually been a bit of a pain to find a game for because it's only got 16K, so there aren't many games that run on it.
Right, okay. So again, in here we've got a flash cart
Yeah.
for the MSXs and a pretty limited game. It's still
This is
not bad
actually
little
pretty cool.
display.
This is a brand new game. It's only written this year. It's called
right.
Night, so Nighthtknight.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a cute little game, and it runs in 16K. So this has been a kind of a little hit of the show so far.
Yeah, that is really nice. What's that? The big
This?
sticky up thing?
This is the aerial. So this just plugs into the RF socket where normally the aerial lead would go.
Right.
We're not entirely sure why it's got one of these. There's a number of Japanese machines that came with these. I don't know whether they...
So that can that transmit in very low power to the telly?
Very, very, very low power. If you kind of touch it against the television, you get a screen that's mostly full of snow. So it almost works.
Right, okay.
I don't really understand why. I think there's... Some of the old Japanese TVs have a funny aerial socket that maybe it didn't work with. Or
Right.
maybe they didn't like unplugging it, but this comes with one, and one of the Nintendo machines comes with one. So, yeah, it's there for decoration at the moment. Obviously,
It's nice though. It's nice. I do like it. And it's a very cute little machine.
It is. It's absolutely tiny.
Yeah, the keys are very small. Zoom right in there for you. Okay. MX101 Casio. What's this? Oh,
This is
Sanyo.
a Sanyo PHC25, which is a very unusual machine. I don't think they sold many in Japan. They tried to sell them in France, and not many French people bought them either.
Right.
Z80 based. It uses the same graphics controller as the Dragon 32, so the same sort of disgusting green.
Right. Yep.
It has possibly one of the worst versions of Space Invaders I've ever seen for it. I should load that up later. It's an interesting little machine, but there's almost nothing for it.
Nothing for it. Nothing to say.
No.
So let's move on.
Moving on. This is the Fujitsu FM7. So this is kind of like the Japanese version of the BBC Micro. This is what the well-off kids had at home.
Okay.
And what they might find in schools. It's 6809 based. It's got two 6809s in it.
Oh, two processor.
Yes.
Doing what?
So one's for the main processor, and the other one is controls the sound and the graphics.
Right.
So they talk to, they share a bit of the bus, and they talk to each other over there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, it's a credible little machine. We have a funky little Mario game for it. We discovered, much to my amusement, because we've been looking at this game, and Mario, all the colours were wrong on Mario.
All right.
Which I presumed it was supposed to look that. I just presumed this machine was a bit rubbish. You know, I'm a Dragon user, so I'm used to games looking the wrong colours.
I didn't know you were a Dragon user.
Did you not?
No,
Did you not?
no.
And there's a Dragon event coming up in a couple of weeks.
Oh, is there? Where's that being held?
It might be held here.
Oh, there's something
Yes,
could be in
it's gonna
history
be
in
held
Cambridge.
here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I discovered ultimately is this is a little RGB converter that I'd made, so I could use it with SCART, and I'd wired green and blue the wrong way around.
Why?
Because I'm stupid.
Ah, fine. I should have got that actually pointed when you said it. I missed it.
Yeah.
So that's good skills though. Look at that. Good skills.
So now Mario is the right colour, and we're all happy, and this machine is better than I thought it was.
Right. Interesting. Good stuff. Right.
Right, and finally, we've got my big Sharp MZ80K system.
This is proper pro. Let's start at the beginning of this system. Well, let's start with its manuals. There it is. This is a pro MZ80K setup.
This is the bee's knees. This is. So this machine dates back to I think 1979, 1978. It's about the same time as the PET 2001, and it's very very similar machine to it in many respects. So it's got a built-in tape drive, an awful keyboard.
Keyboard's all right.
Actually, the keyboard is better than you think.
There's worse ones out there.
It's proper switches. It's just. Why the hell lay it out like
It's
that? Why not
laid out.
offset it like a normal keyboard?
It is laid out a bit funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a bit of a pain. It has some startling graphics, as you can.
They are impressive. Yep.
Yeah.
Look at those.
It also has a good party trick, which is if we do need to do anything to it.
Ooh.
There you go.
Commodore PET styling, although with a much nicer hinge there.
Yes. Makes it nice and easy to work on.
There's all your RAM down there. We've got power supply over here. ROM in the middle there, and processors at the back.
Yep.
All the malarkey under there. Good stuff. What's going on over here? So there's your cassette deck.
Yeah.
There's a mysterious wire coming out the side.
Do you remember these
Yeah, I
from
do.
your car? So you want to play your MP3 player? So it's one of these little gizmos. But it's a really easy way of loading games into this thing. So all the
That
games.
is nifty. I like it.
It's a really simple solution.
Yeah. Yeah, reliable.
Yes, works perfectly.
Yeah.
Works really well.
That's a really nice little tip for anybody. Pick up one of those things. You can pick them up for about 99p now.
Yeah,
can't
you
Nobody
can.
wants
Yeah,
them anymore.
they're almost giving them away for free.
And yeah, just plug that into your MP3 player, and away you go. That's a really good little tip. What is that beast?
So this beast here is purely the floppy disk controller. So the intelligence of the floppy disk lives in here, and then the floppy disks are here.
Right, so this box is purely a floppy disk interface for that machine.
Yes.
And it's very nearly the same size as the floppy disk in itself.
Yes.
Right. However, floppy disk there, that's original. That doesn't look particularly original to me.
No, so this is a GoTech. This is a floppy disk emulator.
Right.
So as far as this machine's concerned, it's just got 2 floppy drives.
Yeah.
But there's a little USB stick here. On this, there's 20 odd floppy disks. I mean, there could be hundreds, but that's what I've got on it at the moment. So I can select what floppy disk is on. If you see there, the little blue screen. So I've got my basic boot disk,
And
my
I can focus on that.
utilities, and the games.
Lovely. Shot and focus, that's cool. Yeah. Nicely done as well.
Yeah,
it's been 3D printing
it's
something.
got 3D printed, yeah. So I got a nice full height 5 1/4 case for it.
Nicely done. Nicely done. That's a lovely setup. So there you go, Sharp MZ80K in all its glory, taking up the entire desk.
I win the prize for the widest computer system, don't I?
Right, well, thank you very much for bringing all this stuff along, Tony. More importantly, thank you very much for organising it all. We really appreciate it. Yeah, let's get on and have a look at some of the other stuff. Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. We have Adrian Graham with us, also known online as Binary Dinosaurs.
Hello.
So, Adrian, we have a number of great machines here. Can you tell us a little bit about them? Starting with this one.
Yamaha CX5M, dedicated professional synthesizer.
Professional synthesizer.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't
So-
give an example of who actually used one in a studio, but it started out as a standard MSX machine, and Yamaha, being producers of synthesizers, thought, what an excellent idea to take something that was commodity, add in a dedicated FM synthesizer,
Right.
and 2 MIDI ports. So this is the only MSX machine that has MIDI ports.
Right.
Full-size polyphonic keyboard, which I can't play.
I don't know. Sounds lovely.
Doesn't it sound excellent? Like your number one next week.
So yeah. So for this is an MSX, slightly non-standard MSX, which in itself is strange.
Yes, it goes against the whole
Yeah,
MSX
yeah.
thing.
That's not exactly the point, but there you go. Yeah, so that one you don't see very often. So there you go. So there's the MX5.
Full-size keyboard.
No.
It did come with a little mini half-size one
Yeah.
that wasn't fully polyphonic.
Right. I think we've got the smaller one. I think. So right. What do we have here?
Moving on, Sony HP75, known as the Hit
The hip bit. Yep.
A few years ago, this was the dog's danglies of MSX machines. And I've no idea why, because there's nothing special about this one to make it stand out from anything else. MSX being a Microsoft standard where they're trying to take over the world again.
Yep. An MSX is an MSX is an MSX.
That's the idea.
Unless it's an
But-
MSX2.
Unless it's an MSX2, and also unless whichever manufacturer decided to add their own USP to it, so you get. I'll come to that in a minute on the Toshiba.
Oh yes, the Toshiba over there. Okay.
This one is running a brand new MSX game, written a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, we've seen this one on another one
Yeah,
over there
Tony's-
somewhere.
Tony's got another
yeah.
one.
It's fantastic. This stuff's still being written.
A brilliant game. Very
had-
frustrating.
We had the MSX guys come over and do a display here. So loads and loads of different machines, which you can also see on our YouTube channel. But yeah, there's so much new stuff being developed, which is fantastic to see. Okay, so yes, Sword
Moving on to
M5
the Sword
CGL.
M5. Well, this is the European edition. The original Japanese Sword is exactly the same machine. CGL, the British company, who basically just changed it enough so
Yeah.
it didn't look like the Sword M5. This one has the slightly uncommon disc controllers,
Yeah,
which, as Brother Adrian has already said, they're possibly the worst controllers he's ever used. They're not the best. I think they're marginally better than what you get with them in television, but
they're marginally better than not having it.
this one has a recently produced multi-cart, which surprises me because the Sword itself is almost a niche machine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And came pretty late in the video game timetable, I guess.
But-
So it was never very successful. And it was also quite limited, not much memory.
So is that Charlie's?
That's Charlie's,
Yeah, it
yes.
is. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it is quite impressive to see all these cards going. There's a card for one of the machines over there that I never knew would have been existed. So there you go.
Oh, Tony's Pewter.
Yeah.
With a multi-cart.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who would produce a multi-cart for that?
Well, it's one of those because we can things.
Yeah. I mean, we had a little bit of a hand in that cart with Charlie, supplied in the machine and stuff to make the cart.
Sir Morris online.
Sir Morris, yes, if you're looking for him. Is he still making them?
Possibly on request.
Right. Okay. So let's move on.
Moving on, we have an example of what became known as the Model T range of machines.
Mm-hmm. Shush.
Kyocera out of Japan came up with a design of a machine called the KY85 and decided to license it to other manufacturers, sort of early MSX-like idea.
Right.
So we had the NEC Pc-8801. They're all identical in spec.
Right.
Again, different manufacturers put a different slant on things. People might know or be more familiar with this one.
Yeah.
Which isn't strictly Japanese, but
Trash 80.
a good old Trash 80 Model 100. It's loved by journalists all over the world, just for connectivity more than anything else.
And that one has been used as a word processor.
This one...
They didn't really understand though, did they? They've written all around the outside.
These are the commands for setting up the comms.
Right.
So that's enabling 4800 baud. That's setting one of the Boots Basic, I think that one.
Right.
But yes, Pete, I know the bloke who gave me this, and he used it for writing all of his management books.
Right.
He's a published author. So this got massively used. So I don't want to clean it because it's
takes away some of that history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called? Patina.
yeah.
Something like that. So
I don't know if that applies to retro computers, but whatever.
This is the sort of the facsimile of the KY85.
Yep.
This one, the Olivetti M100.
Yeah.
All exactly the same, but each with their own different things. The M100, you can lift the screen up, which does make it more usable.
Yeah, sure. Cool.
So yes,
Very nice.
This one also has the slightly rare Brother FB100 floppy drive, which surprisingly was designed for Brother sewing machines.
Right.
Every single Brother sewing machine has a port for one of these, and you use it for storing patterns and all the more useful. And it does this, which is very pleasing.
Lovely. Look at the action on that.
It also uses a disk operating system that is now lost.
Oh.
Because it came on cassette. And
there's
passed all over the place. So if anybody knows of Microtime International of Wootton, Bedfordshire, give me a shout.
Yeah.
It needs to live again. I've refurbished it, rebuilt it. It's all a happy machine. But you can't do anything with it.
Have you checked our archive?
Tony has.
Oh, okay, right. That's a shame. All right.
Next up,
More MSX malarkey?
the Toshiba HX22GB. And this one's USP is a serial port.
All right.
Don't think any other MSX machine had a serial port. Well, not a dedicated. You can't see it. Dedicated RS-232.
Yeah.
And also 2 slots.
Right.
Which is very handy.
Playing the absolute classic Chucky egg.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Direct spectrum port, I suspect. So it plays exactly the same way.
Right. And then over here.
Sharp MZ 700 series.
Now I've got a little bit of special place in my heart for these. I'm not a fan of them, but my uncle had them, or had one, and I remember playing with that, and it looks great, but actually it's pretty limited in capability, really. I was a little bit disappointed.
It's a Z80 powered basic machine. You could get other languages for it, but
yeah.
It was designed to be an office machine. This one's a 711, so it has the built-in tape drive.
Yep.
You can also get I think it was a 721 with a printer.
Printer as well. Yeah, it's a not dot matrix, it's a little plotter printer, wouldn't it?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. That's what he had. That's the thing that was most appealing to me, is just the little plotter printer that went in just there.
That's what I was going to show you with the little printer.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
proper little rattly dot matrix type thing.
Okay, so we've got Mind Snake running on this one.
That's another brand new game, launched. He's launching it this weekend.
Oh, really?
He sent us some specially for this event.
Oh, of course, yes. Yeah, yeah.
How it works.
Brilliant stuff. Right,
Moving
now
on.
then, this one doesn't look like ours.
Real 3DO, which doesn't get much love because it's the slightly less well-designed brother of the original 3DO, which has a sort of classic look about it.
Yeah.
This is an identical machine, and in my case, this is the one that works.
Right, okay. I like this one.
Designed for 3D games,
Yep.
and excellently playable for how old it is.
The 3DO's ARM-based, isn't it? I think. Yeah. So I'm not sure how many other consoles there are that are ARM-based, but there's not many. But this is one of them.
I certainly can't think of any, but
So there you go. That's the 3DO. Now then, we've done the MZ80A and the K.
this is the MZ80B.
This is the B. My favourite thing about the B is those controls there. So the tape deck is all solenoid controlled, so none of your clunky buttons on this machine.
It's all beautifully automatic as well. So
Yeah.
if this one didn't have its rubber band melted,
All right.
so
Yeah.
you can't do anything with it, unfortunately. But yes, it's all nicely. It doesn't snag the tape. It doesn't move it in a way to snap it or anything like that. It's
Yep.
beautifully designed.
It is. So.
This one would be beautifully working, but it decided to start failing about an hour ago.
Oh well.
So
And again, we've got the floppy drives there, but no massive floppy drive interface on this machine.
no,
I take it that.
this is what was unique about the 80B.
Yep.
Because with the A and the K and all the sub-variants, all the Japanese sub-variants, they all needed that massive expansion box, which gave you 6 slots.
Yeah.
This one has the 6 slots built in.
Right.
And it's a great excuse to actually show you how you get in it. It also weighs as much as a small car. So this one has the expansion bus built in.
Yeah. Look at that. Right.
There's your 6 slots, floppy drive, printer. And it lifts up like a hood.
Do it again.
Oh.
Look at that. Did you see that coming? No, you did not. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Same bonnet lid on the,
Bonnet
or
lid,
similar to
same
the
as
other
a
ones.
pet.
Yeah.
Same as all the others, actually.
Yeah, no, they do.
So
So
that's
we've
your
got power supply over there,
expansion,
suspension,
power supply,
some
extra
RAM over there.
32K.
Right.
There's a graphics board there with 8K of its own RAM. And unfortunately, the fault this one is developed is on the main RAM, which is on the motherboard.
Right.
But it's also beautifully serviceable.
Yeah.
There's 2 screws, undo the power supply, and the whole board comes out.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And you can still run it while it's out.
Fantastic.
For servicing and stuff. Beautiful design.
Yeah. Somebody's thought about that.
Yeah.
Makes a change.
And all
Rather
this,
than just cost reducing everything.
all this slides out as well. For maintenance.
Beautiful. Right. So that's the back of an MZ80B.
Yep.
Didn't expect to see that today, did you? Right. And at this end,
To move this out of the way.
a pile of stuff.
It is.
But it has no screen.
It doesn't because
Oh.
there it is. Oh, I've unplugged it.
Yeah, so that doesn't help.
This is the Epson PX8, also known as a Geneva, which actually runs CPM.
Right.
If it was plugged in, you'd be able to see WordStar 3 running on it. Somebody did a portable ROM-based version of WordStar.
Nice.
And the cassette drive from CPM is the H drive.
Right.
So there's no dedicated cassette commands, you just manipulate it like
Like a
it's
drive.
a floppy drive.
Very nice.
Another excellently designed bit of kit.
Yeah.
And also has on the bottom 128k battery backed RAM module that gets used as the A drive.
Right.
So that's your battery backed
You've
straps
got
pack.
solid state drive on it.
Yep.
SSDs from a machine of when was this?
SSDs
1980,
from 82?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 82, 83. Fantastic.
Yeah. Right.
And a dedicated printer for it as well.
It's a different colour though.
Yeah, it's had. Nobody mentioned retro brighting, please.
This is a silver beauty. Oh no, there's two machines here.
There's two
Hang on,
machines.
let's talk about this one then.
This one's only out because it's bust.
Oh.
This is what I was saying earlier about people putting their own slant on the MSX standard. They're all Z80. They were supposed to be standard RAM, 32K I think, standard video chip, and standard keyboard layout, cursors, everything in roughly the same place. This one has a dedicated and unique to this machine video chip.
Okay.
That's what's wrong with it. So it's a fancy looking machine. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's nice looking. But if it's got its own specific video chip, that means that's not going to be easy to sort out then either, is it?
No, well, the only place to get a replacement is another
one of these, which is probably working anyway, so shame.
But it looks good.
Yeah, very nice. So then panning down.
It's resting on top of a Sanyo MBC555.
I like these.
Which looks like a piece of hi-fi because it's Sanyo.
Yeah.
And they obviously, power button's very much of a amplifier of the day.
Yeah.
This was designed as a low-cost PC, not quite compatible machine.
No.
In that the base 500, the MBC 500, is 70% DOS compatible. It runs DOS 1, DOS 1.2 with the colour board. You could buy a massive CGA card for it, which this one has, which has an extra 256k of RAM on board. So it gets it up to 512, which on a DOS machine is amazing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no DMA on the motherboard, so when you're accessing the floppy drives, everything else stops. And if you do something rash, like want to access the B drive, the world ends temporarily while it sorts itself out, and then you go back to the A drive, the world ends again. But once it's running, it comes with a full, the usual suite of DOS applications.
Yeah. So you can see over here we've got the manuals and the few discs there for it. Very nice. If you look in the background of Bandersnatch in Tucker's office, you'll see one of these machines. Although we had a different monitor on it because we was feeding it from something else completely.
These monitors are apparently as rare as hen's teeth.
Yeah, we haven't got one of these. We've just got a standard mono green screen on ours.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that is rare. I've never seen that.
Graphics option.
Yeah.
This is a CRT70, which is I discovered last night, is a TTL monitor, whereas this one should be CGA. The actual correct monitor for this one's a CRT50, which there is zero information, nothing.
Typical.
You do see mentions of this, but only in adverts.
Right. Well,
they were used in
rare.
the background of a Blade Runner type sci-fi film. There was a whole bank of them.
Oh, was it?
And that's people's lasting memories of it. But this one actually works on a BBC Micro, and it's...
Yeah, it would do if it's TTL. Yeah.
I had a quick crash course in rejumpering sync signals last night. So got that one working today, which is really nice. So one working, one failure.
Well,
swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no net loss there. But well, thank you very much for taking the time to put this display together. We really appreciate it. It's a very impressive display, as I think you'll agree. So, thank you very much, Adrian.
Cheers.
And see you at the next event.
See you in September.
Okay, next part of the display, we have some Neo Geo machines here, and our very own Adrian from the museum. He obviously works here, but also you might have seen him on Retro Tech Archive and Crime Stoppers. So, Adrian.
Not recently.
Tell us a little bit about what we've got on display here.
Okay, so SNK rather are really known for their arcade machines, and these really are the home versions. So they produce 4 home versions of their machines, of which we've got 2 of the best ones here. So we've got the Neo Geo Aes here. This is the home cartridge system. In the arcades, the cartridges are the MVS. And they're basically the exact arcade experience, but in the home.
Yeah.
So we've basically got effectively a jammer board in a console case. Everything else is on the cartridge. That made them extremely expensive even back in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
So even a smaller game like Magician Lord here, with its 46 megs,
Look at that packaging though.
Yeah, it's beautiful packaging. It would have cost £175.
How many?
£175 back in '93. But yeah, you got your lovely swanky box and cartridge, double PCB board.
Yeah. And would that cartridge go into a normal jammer board?
It wouldn't. No, you have to have an MVS.
Yeah, that was naughty, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it stops you buying the cheaper arcade version.
Yeah. You can mod them though, can't you?
You can mod them. There are clever people out there who will even take an AES cart
Right.
and an MVS cart, and they will convert it to run out of an MVS case.
Right.
So if you've got like a 110 meg game here, so this is one of my favourites, Top Hunter, you would be talking £325.
What?
So the larger the game, the more you paid for it, effectively. So you had one.
Say that again. How many?
£325.
325. Is that the best game you've ever played?
On SNK, possibly. I like it.
It wants to
it's
be.
quite short.
It wants to be. I mean,
you're
how much
paying for
do
the
you pick up a
exact-
console for?
What, nowadays?
Yeah.
Oh, you're still talking £300, £400.
So the console's £300 odd pound,
Yeah.
and the game is as well.
Well, that's back in the day. Now, for Top Hunter, you'd be looking at £600-700 if you were to buy it second hand nowadays. No. There are some that are up in the thousands. We've got games like Polestar. Metal Slug is a particularly sought after title. They didn't produce that many cartridges back in the day,
Right.
and you're talking 2,000 or 3,000 to pick that up now.
Wow.
Which is
Okay.
where the machine next door comes in.
Right.
So we have here our Neo Geo CDZ. There were two models of CD player before this. You had a front loader and then you had a top loader.
Yep.
The front loader was not the most reliable machine, beautifully built but absolutely huge. It's about the size of the AES machine. And of course the disc went in the front.
Yep.
And that and the top loader had a real problem in that everything of the game on the AES systems held on the cartridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's
graphics,
speed.
sound, even a processor.
Right.
That is all on a CD. So this machine it's got an awful lot of chips in it to try and download as much data off a CD as possible.
No. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But the first two machines only have a single speed ROM.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
They
say.
don't have much memory and they take absolutely ages to load.
To load up. Yep.
So you're looking at a minute for a
Right.
game to start.
Not
This is-
acceptable.
Not acceptable. This is the CDZ. It was only released in Japan. And it doesn't have double the drive. People think it has a much faster drive. It doesn't.
Right.
It just has an awful lot more memory.
Right. Okay.
So it can download data and then store
Stick it in memory and leave it there. Right.
So
Yep.
rather than taking a minute to load, it will take 30 seconds.
Right. Wow. So lovely. That is the Neo Geos there.
A lot more
In
to
all
it
their
than
glory?
just fighting games as well, I should point out as well. It's known for its fighting games.
Yeah.
But I've got 26 CDs, of which only 3 are fighting games.
Right.
So if you look a bit deeper, it actually does
There
have
are
good variation.
A few more
games.
genres out there as well for
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So now I know this is your passion.
Oh yes, the PC
Look at
Engine
these.
family.
So what do we got?
So we got back the earliest model from 1987. So only RF out, not much use to us in the UK, unless
You can modify these things.
you
though.
can modify them.
You can get a composite video out of them as well.
And it's one of the earliest CD systems, so we can actually, you would have actually been able to plug your PC Engine into your disk system, and
Right.
then you've got AV out on the side.
Ah, yes. Yep. Look at that. Beautiful.
It's beautiful. Now what I've actually got running on it is a PC Engine LT, and let's actually not wreck the thing, shall we?
Yeah, live on camera.
Live on
Good
camera,
work.
that's good. It's good, yeah. So, I've actually got, if I haven't blown it up, an LT. So they didn't produce many of these. I think there was, I think it was somewhere around 5,000, and it's just a beautiful little laptop system. So full PC Engine, built-in 4.3-inch TFT screen, and yes, you can pair that up with the CD-ROM and have what has got to be one of the ultimate portable machines.
That is.
So
Fantastic.
we've got quite a late game running on it called Sapphire. Runs on one of the later CD-ROM cards, the Arcade Pro card,
Right.
which allows for a lot more memory and much more jazzy special effects.
Yep.
So we've got
Okay.
the original there. The second in line is the shuttle. This was more aimed at children. It was a more budget machine, although being way larger than the original. I don't know how it became the budget one.
You get looks like you get more for your money. There's probably a lot of space in there, is there?
Probably does. And also, it's the only PC engine that cannot talk to a CD unit.
Okay.
So
Because of its physical styling, I assume.
not only its physical styling, they literally didn't build the connector in.
They will also stop that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Okay.
it will only play card games.
Right.
Wait and see, we're running a Sega game on here, because obviously in Japan, NEC were Nintendo's main rival, not Sega or anyone else.
Right.
So that even meant that Sega's games ended up on the PC engine, converted by NEC Avenue themselves.
It plays pretty rapidly and all.
Yeah, it does. It's got some really amazing graphics chips in the PC engine.
Yeah.
It's only an 8-bit console, but with these graphics chips, it's able to do some really posh stuff.
Uh-huh.
So after the shuttle, they went back to the original design for the core graphics. And then we've got a slightly restyled here Core Graphics 2, which is identical to the core graphics. They just styled it to match their new Super CD-ROM standard.
Nice.
So whereas with the original CD-ROM, it was called the CD-ROM 2, I don't know what happened to 1. No doubt someone will tell us. But with the Super CD-ROM added more memory, it added things like scale and rotation as well, so it was able to do some pretty neat effects here. We've got a Castlevania game playing here.
Cool.
So this is our first of our all-in-one systems. So this is the PC Engine Duo. And we've got our little cartridge slot in here, which is empty at the moment.
Nice.
I've got our CD, obviously. And this is the posh early model. It's got strange things like headphone socket. You can actually lock the drive so that you can't get into the drive.
Cool. We need that on some of our display units.
Yeah. And whereas with the first CD system, you would need a Super CD card or some sort of CD card plugged in here to initiate the CD. This has actually got it all built in.
Right.
This is a Super CD standard machine, so it will run any games up to the Super CD standard on its own. And then just around here, we've got probably one of NEC's only slight missteps. This was NEC's knee-jerk panic reaction to the Super Nintendo
Right.
when they saw it. So they put in 2 new graphics chips, but not a lot else.
Right.
So it's completely backwards compatible. It uses the same sound as the original, and it's probably got one of the smallest libraries of any console. So of its own games, it only has 5.
There's only 5 games
5
available
games.
for this.
There's another 3 that use its enhanced graphics chips that will also run on the normal PC engine.
Right.
But its own library is 5. This particular game here, 1941, until the PSP came out, or Capcom's collections way later, this was the only place to play 1941. It also has an absolutely superb version of Ghouls and Ghosts.
Right.
And the other 3 games are really quite forgettable. And then after this, basically, NEC decided that they didn't really need to keep supporting this machine because it also had a slight problem in that its new graphics chips did something funny with the CD-ROM. So although it will play all the older CD-ROM games through an adapter, I can also take that Super CD system around there and plug it straight on the back.
Right.
So it looks like some massive T-shaped console.
Right.
Any new CD-ROM games could not take advantage of the new graphics chips. So it was rendered fairly obsolete early on. Wasn't on the market for long. And then NEC just kept improving their machines. I think we've got one of the last ones around here. So we have one of my personal favourites. I just love the styling of this. This is the Geo R,
Right.
which is just a slightly remodeled version of the regular Geo over there. I haven't had this confirmed, but the R is supposed to stand for like reduced.
Oh, okay. Right.
So it doesn't have the headphone socket, it doesn't have the locking drive.
Yep.
But also, unlike the original Geo, it has got slightly better capacitor set,
Yeah.
so it does keep going.
More reliable. Nice.
Yeah, so they just kept improving the CD cards And the machine was around, I think the last release for it was in the early 1990s, so it had a pretty good life, especially in Japan. And there we go, nice CD drive there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Adrian, for bringing all this stuff in. Like the rest of the exhibitors here, this is all your personal collection, and we really appreciate you taking the time and the effort for bringing it. Oh, hello. No,
Okay.
one more.
So I did just forget, of course, we have our handheld version.
PC Engine GT.
PC Engine GT, and what it does is it literally just takes the regular cartridges
Yep.
for the main machine, so very rare, unlike Sega and Nintendo who would sell you a whole new version. You've literally just got to take your game and plug it in.
Very nice. That looks hardly used as well.
Yeah. It's been repaired a couple of times as well.
Right.
So back in its case it goes.
Yeah, as is the problem with a lot of this stuff. It's not getting the machines, it's keeping them going.
Keeping them going, keep them used.
Yeah.
Keep them used, people. That's what keeps these machines alive a lot of the time.
Absolutely. Right, thanks a lot, mate. Appreciate it.
Okay.
And yeah, that's quite an impressive collection. I think anybody would agree. Okay, on to the next segment of the display here at the Made in Japan Retro Computer Festival weekend. We have a few machines here. We can see a Dreamcast there, Hello Kitty Dreamcast. Look at that, it's magic, isn't it? Completely all matching, some games there. The games are Katrina's. This is Katrina. Say hello.
Hi.
Katrina works at the museum and has probably the best job in the world, I think you'll agree. So tell us a little bit about what we've got here. So we've got the Dreamcast over here, Hello Kitty games, Sony PlayStation here. I mean, looks like a normal Sony PlayStation to me.
Yeah, it's just a Japanese region PlayStation, but what we've got it out here for is the peripheral.
Right.
So it's a kid station. It's like an accessible controller, only the 4 buttons for really, really small children.
Yeah.
And there was only a really small amount of titles released for it with like characters, kind of random characters like Thomas the Tank Engine. I think they did Hello Kitty for that as well. But that's the only game I have.
Right.
Just really, really simple. So here you've got a tell Henry which way to go, which is that way, without hitting anything.
Oh, bugger. So no controls, just triangle, square, and cross and north, whatever. What's the terms in PlayStation? What is it? Circle. Oh god, now I look stupid. So that's a Japanese PlayStation. Actually looks pretty much the same as any others from the outside. So that's kind of cool. So there's not many of those around. I've never seen one of those before. What else have we got over here? So I love this one. What's this called?
It's Sakura Pink PS2.
Right.
So when they get 50 million sales, they released this one as an exclusive colour, only in Japan.
Right.
To celebrate that.
Cool.
I've got Beatmania Da 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 here. So we actually got it out for Rhythm Night, but then found that it had this typing tutorial in it.
Right.
So we thought we'd have this out for Computer Festival. It's got a QWERTY keyboard, so it kind of goes.
Cool. So what? Explain.
This is in the rhythm setting right now, annoyingly, but we did have the typing tutor going on it.
So it is literally a typing tutor
Yeah, you.
within the game.
It shows you the keyboard on the screen, and
Right.
it tells you what buttons to hit, and I think you have to hit it on the beat, but also quickly.
Oh, so it's typing, but it is
Kind
in
of,
sync.
yeah.
So it's still sort of a rhythm game.
Yeah.
So the Konami keyboard there, is that?
It came with Beatmania.
It came. Oh right. Okay. So it comes with Beatmania, not the machine itself. So there you go. There's Beatmania box there and case. Yeah. That. I don't know if you can see the colour on the, or if it's represented well enough on the video, but I love it. That is a really nice console. So yeah, 50 millionth edition. Katrina's done some little signs for it. Nobody else has done signs for theirs. Right. Okay. So over here as well. A load of colour Wonderswan games. Are these Adrian's?
Yeah, all Adrian's games apart from one that's mine.
So one of these is yours. Which one's yours?
It's Emotional Jam. I put it in there just to make the numbers up so it's a nice neat square.
Emotional Jam?
Yeah.
What the hell's that about?
I don't know. I haven't played it yet. I can't read Japanese.
So yeah, got a couple of, I don't know if you can see them in there. They're under the plastic cover, but there's a Wonderswan, the crystal and the colour box at the back there. But yeah, really nice selection of games. You don't see that many around. Tamagotchis as well. Who's the Tamagotchis?
Mine. I will admit.
You will admit.
So the blue cartridge there is actually really interesting. It's one of the quite rare long Game Boy cartridges. It's
Right.
got its own battery in the top you can easily remove, but it's also got a beeper in it, so your Tamagotchi can tell you what it needs, even when your Game Boy is turned off, which is really great and annoying.
Oh, that's cool. So this cartridge here, I can get in on it there. So that must have its own time chip in it, and still runs off its own battery.
Yeah.
So the Tamagotchi, when it's hungry, I suppose, or whatever. And does it even need to be plugged into the Game
No,
Boy?
no.
So even if it's just lying around as a cartridge on the
Yeah.
table, it will still say, "Hey, I need feeding." Brilliant. Okay, and then what have we over here?
This is some of my Japanese Game Boy collection.
Right.
Mostly puzzle games, other stuff that I just thought looked interesting. A few rhythm games in there as well. A couple of handhelds, particularly this one's probably one of my favourites. It's actually my mum's.
Right.
It was probably her first handheld, and
brilliant.
it also
Bit of
ended up
history.
being my first handheld.
Right.
Kind of, well, it is a Game & Watch knockoff, but I really, really like it.
Yeah, yeah. Game & Watch knockoff, eh? There you go. That's a Gakken, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. And then this one over here. Another one there. Cool. So, see if we can get in on that. Oh. Just a little model there, Mario Kart
Yeah,
7.
it's a silly Yoshi toy.
So, quite hard to show you because it's under the plastic cover, because obviously we don't want people mauling them all. We've got Pac Panic over there, Donkey Kong GB, Beat Mania. So it probably doesn't need to be said, but Katrina's quite into her rhythm games. Yeah, we had a rhythm game night, so if you're ever thinking of coming along, check out when our next rhythm game night is, because we'll have a ton of really cool stuff. Right, what we got here?
This is a little Game Boy display. So we've got Game Boy Pocket, that's a Famitsu exclusive, so I think Famitsu is a gaming magazine in
Right,
Japan. This one was only released over there, quite small numbers, so it's quite rare now. The Game Boy Color is wearing a Dance Dance Revolution peripheral.
It's
But-
wearing a Dance Revolution.
It simplifies the buttons, so you've just got your up, down, left, right, kind of like the kids station.
Yeah.
It's specifically for DDR.
Cool.
We've got Adrian's Game Boy Light there. Game Boy Lights were exclusive to Japan. They're a backlit version of the Pocket.
Right.
We didn't get those.
Really cool. There's a few Game Boys there you won't normally see around. And then last, we have...
So we've got some Puyo Puyo stuff. Not much to say about that, it is what it is. And there we've got some Bimani. So these are really hard to find now. They're handheld rhythm games. They also did some quite weird crossovers, so that is genuinely Winnie the Pooh Dance Dance Revolution.
Winnie the Pooh Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah.
Legendary.
And it's a slightly simplified version of the normal Dance Dance Revolution on handheld.
Right.
There's also a Beat Mania one there, and Hello Kitty is pretty much Beat Mania as well.
Right. Well, thanks very much for bringing these along. Really appreciate it. There's been a lot of people bringing a lot of consoles and Japanese tech to the display, so we really appreciate that. And thank you very much, and see you at the next event. Okay, so last part of the display. We're in the class room now at the Made in Japan Festival, and we've got another stunning collection of machines. These ones mostly belong to Andy Fell. So Andy's a volunteer at the museum. He's my favourite volunteer. I've already said that about Tony, so I've just got to keep it equal, and they're all my favourites. So what we have here is, starting down there, if I can zoom in on it, is a Dreamcast, but that's no normal Dreamcast.
No. So this is the Regulation 7. The first thing that stands out, obviously, is it looks a lot cooler than the original grey Dreamcast. It's in black and was actually produced for Japanese gambling parlours, where they were actually networked to a system where people could use them to interactively bet on sporting events. And then, of course, the public went, "Oh, a black Dreamcast. Really sexy.
Lovely, yeah.
And we want one." So in the end, they actually manufactured them, and people were able to buy them. And hence, I have one now. And other than the fact that it's black and looks better, that's the only difference between that and a standard Japanese Dreamcast. So going along, this is, so first of all, it's not quite Japanese. It's a Bandai console, and it's the UK version. But this is the infamous Pippin. I've newly acquired this console, and I got a lot of abuse for buying it because arguably it's one of the worst consoles ever produced. Inside this beast is a 66 megahertz PowerPC processor, and at the end of the day, it's just a Power Mac. And unfortunately, that's its biggest downfall, because the controller is a mouse and a controller. It's very awkward. The graphics are quite terrible, and the speed is extremely slow, and a relatively small amount of software was produced for it, and none of them really stand out as being great pieces of software. And again, as history's taught us throughout the history of video gaming, is that quite often when you stick a PC in a console box, it doesn't work. And unfortunately, I think that's probably Apple's last attempt to ever produce a games console anyway.
There's been other versions of history as well, on there with all this sort of thing. Like, you know, if you've got a medicine cabinet, don't slam your thumb in it. Is that another bit of history?
Yes, all right, yes, but that's more recent, and I'm afraid that's too recent for the museum, I feel. So we'll leave that topic. And coming on next, this is the Super Famicom Junior. So this is the Japanese take on the Super Nintendo. Well, I should say Super Nintendo with the UK and North American take on this. So basically it's the same as your SNES, smaller form factor on this version, and just a little bit of interesting, well, sort of interesting bit about Mario for those who don't know. If we go into Mario All-Stars here, you will see the first one is Super Mario, you'd expect that, but the second one is Super Mario 2. Now actually, when we got this, Super Mario 2 was what they called Super Mario USA, stay with me, and Super Mario 2 came to us as the Lost Levels, and the whole reason for that is because Super Mario 2 was deemed so ridiculously difficult, it was never released for the UK and the US market, and so it came out on our Mario All-Stars as a kind of extra thing, and it is impossible, as Adrian will back me up and say.
It's also really hard to play with one hand, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yeah. A lot of things are. I'm finding this. And also we have our, so again, not a lot to say about this. It's the Sega Saturn, the Japanese version. And as we enjoy a lot of Japanese stuff in NTSC, it's a slightly higher frame rate. And here I've got Virtua Fighter Remix as a kind of a classic nod to the game that really launched the console for its short life that it had.
Yeah. I do like the colour scheme though on theirs, rather than just our black one.
Yes, it's more attractive, and a lot of the Japanese consoles have that edge. They're more brightly coloured, and they are very attractive. Hence the need to collect as many as I can. But
do you find that you're now more attractive now you've had plastic surgery?
No.
No? Okay,
no,
just a question.
I can't compete with you, Jason. You know, if anyone's the most handsome man here, it's yourself. And
yeah, but I'm behind the camera, so nobody knows. Right.
Well, this is the MSX. It's the Toshiba model, HX10. And again, this isn't strictly Japanese, it is a UK model, but I've packaged it with Goonies, and as a lot of people know, Konami had quite a good production phase on the MSX, a variety of software, and some of the, I think it was one of the Metal Gear started on the MSX in Konami. I think that's right, isn't it?
Did it? I don't know. That's interesting.
Okay, so rolling on to what's possibly one of my most loved collections, or part of collections, and possibly one of the most popular items we've had on display here are my two Virtual Boys. So the Virtual Boys, a lot of people know in gaming and retro gaming, was a massive flop. When they marketed it, people didn't know what to do with it. It was called Virtual Boy. Well, does that mean it was portable? Well, no, it wasn't portable. And to save money, because they couldn't afford to do a single matrix for each eye, they used a spinning mirror with a single line of pixels on each eye to give the impression of full screen, and that meant it's very delicate, so any knock could potentially destroy the system. And it gave everybody headaches, so it sold really badly. Nobody knew what to do with it. But the positive side of this is it's got an extremely powerful 32-bit processor. Great sound, the speakers reside right next to your ears, it sounds fantastic, it's very immersive, and they used red LEDs because it was cheaper, and it's on a black, which gives this wonderful kind of infinite depth of field in every game you play. And also, it's infamous for being the first system to have a three-dimensional controller.
A three-dimensional controller?
Yeah, so having two pads, one on each side, so you could control three-dimensional aspects of the game.
I've never really thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's
Interesting.
the birth of that.
So yeah, the Virtual Boys aren't that common, and like you say, that they're quite delicate with the spinning mirror thing. But yeah, you've got to have a go on one because they are really quite unique.
Yeah, and the other thing is they're virtually impossible to emulate. So you really can't recreate that experience without actually having a go. And a lot of people have said it's a very good experience.
Yeah. How does it rate with the experience of slamming your thumb in a medicine cabinet?
It's a lot higher, and I'd definitely recommend that as opposed to the medicine cabinet thing. It's slightly less painful as well. So I'm not going to hear the end of this. Right, so just quickly on the handhelds here.
So we've done. Unfortunately, Adrian's beat us to the go on this one. But yeah, this is the PC Engine. GT, the handheld.
He's already done this.
He has, but his wasn't working, so let's get your screen. So, very cool.
Right, well, let's get something Adrian hasn't got.
There's no kind of competition around the museum, I'm sure.
So this is the Wonderswan. So this was a really big console in Japan again. It's a 16-bit processor. It says turn it on. No, it's not going to work, is it? Camera shy. Oh, there you go. It's a Bandai console again, and as the Japanese did a lot, it uses a reflective screen for the game, so that way it minimises battery use. So we've only got the single AA in the back in the game, and also it's another one like the Atari Lynx, shares the ability to swap hands, so it mirrors the controls for left and right-handed users as well. Very, very unusual.
That's another thing I didn't know. We've got them in the collection, and I just never noticed that. Yeah, cool.
So and this one's got Golden Axe. It's the only game I own because either they're too obscure or you need a degree in Japanese to even turn the thing on. So it's a great little thing, really, really cute, and just the one battery, so it lasts forever.
Nice.
We've got one of these in the collection, so that's Geo Pocket.
Yeah.
And
I do like these.
That's a great.
The screen on them's not that amazing, but it's a great little console. So you got the arcade in your pocket, haven't you?
Yes,
one of these?
yeah. So this is a subset of the Neo Geo's library. So you've got things in here like Metal Slug, which of course is one of the kind of known titles for the system. It's got a lovely marbling effect on there.
Yeah.
It's quite pretty.
And it's easy to use with one hand as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Sometimes. That's really fun today, isn't it? Come on. I suspect the backup battery's having a... There we go.
That's all intro sequence. Get on with it. There you go. Metal Slug. Nice. Can you demonstrate that one being played? Where's he going? So you can see the arm doesn't affect his speed at all. Look at the speed of that. Right.
So going on, this is the PC Engine Duo. Again, Adrian, I fear, has trumped me with his one, which looks exactly the same.
He has.
And actually, he did suggest that the black Duo was one of the best looking machines, so I naturally had to have one as well. And I've got...
Is that just to annoy you?
Yeah, it was kind of a bit, but I've got Super Darius on this. It's a really, really tough R-type game. It's absolutely great. And then next to it, not being used currently, but is the Core Graphics 2. Again, Adrian has one of those, so we won't dwell on it too much.
So this one we haven't done though.
No, so this... So, for those who don't know, the Nintendo, what we know as the NES, the grey box with the flap and the big cartridges, in Japan was the Famicom. the family computer.
Which is that one over there.
So this is how it started life, and slightly, I'd argue, a little bit ugly, but it kind of grows on you. So a lot of the Japanese consoles, the control pad's actually fitted within the console to make it nice and tidy.
Yeah.
So this was the initial launch one, and as well as that, it came with a disc system that fitted underneath. So a lot of Japanese games came on disc from Nintendo.
Yep.
So they released one with both a hybrid of the Famicom and the disc system together.
But that was actually a Sharp product,
It's a
wasn't
Sharp product, yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
There you go. It is a beast as well. It's quite
It is
a
a
lump.
beast. But it's a great. Look at the plastic.
Yeah, I like
look at that. Oh,
Yeah, there's a few different colour variations as well.
Yeah. So unfortunately, yes, those who are keen, I will notice that these aren't quite the correct control pads. Slightly different colour, but there we go.
Nobody would have noticed. But, that's all the comments that are going to be appearing down below.
So again, just to illustrate, they make the cartridges in all these lovely colours, bright pinks, and we've got blacks, and they just look so much nicer than the UK big grey slab that we've got for the NES.
Indeed.
And then coming up here to finish, so as explained, we had the Famicom, the first family computer from Nintendo, then we've had the Geo, and this is the AV, which basically, one of the pains with Japanese stuff, of course, is that if it's an RF, a standard aerial lead, it's very difficult to show it on a power monitor. It will either come out black and white or colour with no sound. So this actually has a standard Nintendo AV lead out, so then we can plug it up and just use standard video and audio out, and as long as the monitor can support the NTSC, then it'll work. And here we have Ghouls and Ghosts, which arguably is one of the hardest arcade games around, as Adrian had a go and found out to himself.
Yeah, but Adrian is rubbish at games, though.
Yeah, he is. And I'm worse, but we won't go into that. I've got injuries, so that...
Yeah, we'll put it down to that.
Yeah. But it's a really sweet little machine, really great colours. Apparently it doesn't fade like the other ones, which is nice as well.
Cool.
So moving on to this, I must point out that these are part of my colleague's Phil's collection.
Another volunteer, Phil, who you've seen on Retro Tech Archive. So actually check out that channel, Retro Tech Archive on YouTube. We feature quite a lot of consoles and computers and things on there as well, so check that one out. But yeah, this one's Phil. So
this is another, as I'm sure you've seen from the other store, is another one of the SG-1000 machines.
Yeah.
And as somebody's probably already explained, that over here we had the Master System, but in Japan they had the SG-1000s Mark 1, Mark 2 and Mark 3, which didn't really hit our market at all, didn't do very well, and thus they're fairly unknown at this side of the world.
Yeah.
Kind of cool again, joypads fit inside the machine, it's very functional, it's not going to win any beauty contests looking like that, nor you, Jason, not to be fair.
How dare you? I've entered several beauty contests.
And going around here, so it's worth pointing out that Phil pretty much had most things that Sega ever produced. So just as most people recognise, this is the Mega CD, and as this is our Japanese themed event, this is the Japanese Mega CD and the Mega Drive on the top, playing Sonic CD.
Nice.
That's because it's just a slight different colour variation in the Japanese 16-bit.
Very cool. I do like that one as a set rather than the one that we had over here. Sorry, interrupting your gameplay there.
Sorry.
There's the box for the Mark III.
Yeah.
And then finally, let's leave this one till last.
So
what is this?
Yes, so this is the Terra Drive. So firstly to point out, we believe this is possibly only one of two functioning ones in the country. We may be corrected, we're happy if we are. So basically in the UK we had a machine come out made by Amstrad called Nec Pc, which enabled the user to switch with a big switch at the front between a Mega Drive and a 486 PC on the other side.
Right.
Now the Japanese take on that is almost the same. It's a fully functioning PC, but big importance is on the Japanese one there was actually some connectivity between the Mega Drive and the PC itself, whereas the UK one was a complete cut. They didn't share any part of the componentry as well.
Yeah.
So thus it's a very rare beast.
Yeah, so as was just a Mega Drive in a box.
Yes.
And there was a switch at the front, so as you moved the case over, or the front panel, it switched over to the Mega Drive, but there was no connectivity between the two. So so this was actually quite a lot more complicated, and like Andy says, pretty rare. Again, this is part of Phil's collection. Sadly, we don't have one in the museum, and are probably not likely to anytime soon, unless obviously we kill Phil.
Yes, so I second that.
Yeah. So
won't know.
and look at this as well. I mean, boxed, a whole lot of there. So I mean, it's really brilliant that we've got a whole bunch of supporting people around the museum, volunteers that have themselves huge collections of machines, and the museum has a great collection, but it's, you know, a lot of the stuff that you see every day. We don't go out and collect things on purpose, as it were, but all the enthusiasts and volunteers at the museum, like Andy here, actually hunt this stuff down and get it from all over the world.
We're mad.
Because they're mad and they have bigger pockets than we do. But they don't have two fully functioning hands. So, well, most of them do, but Andy doesn't. So thank you very much for that. Sorry for taking the mickey, Andy, throughout the entire thing. But yeah, we really appreciate it. This has been the Made in Japan computer weekend, or as we've seen, there's been a huge number of machines on display, as you've seen from this video, because I don't know how long it is, but it's not short. So thank you very much indeed. Thanks, Andy, for coming. Thanks to everybody that's been involved. Yeah, come along to the next event that we have planned on our website. Thank you very much.